Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call this Thompson Regional Hospital District regular meeting to order for Thursday, March 27th, 2025 at 12 noon. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the TRHD, we connect with many First Nation communities across our vast regional district. And today we are located on the Tecumseh territory, situated on the unceded ancestral lands of the Secwepemc Nation. The TRHD appreciates the partnership that we have with Tecumseh and respect the territory and the land on which we are gathered today. Are there any additions or deletions from the agenda? Seeing none, there are minutes under 4.1 from the February 20th, 2025 meeting.
Move the minutes.
Do I have seconded by Director Karpuk? All those in favor? And that passes. And the two directors online, can you signal with a yay?
Yay.
Thank you. Director Houghton, I see you there as well.
Yes, correct.
Yes, thank you. And that passes. And now we move to item 5.1. Mr. Piroddi, come on down.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks to everybody for having me here today. I'm here to present the audited financial statements for the Thompson Regional Hospital District. This will be the shorter of the two presentations that you guys will hear from me today, but you have in your package both a copy of the audited statements and also my report to the board. Given the simple nature of the hospital district, we'll be focusing more on the financial statements and not going through the other report that was provided. That's there for your information, and if you have any questions on it. Okay. So as a reminder, we have management's responsibility for financial reporting included in these statements, and this outlines, along with our independent auditor's report, the role that everybody in this room has to play in terms of getting the final financial statements prepared. The financial statements are the responsibility of management. They're the ones who prepare all the underlying information and make sure that you have policies and good controls to ensure that good information goes in so that the statements are accurate. The board's responsibility is to oversee the audit and approve the financial statements. And also, you appoint me as your auditor. So this is also your chance to ask any questions that you have to make sure that you're satisfied of the work that we did. Myself and my team are responsible for ensuring that we conduct the audit in accordance with the Canadian auditing standards. When doing that, we of course can't look at every transaction, but we focus on areas of risk. Where there's more risk, we spend more time. Where there's less risk, we spend less time. And as of today, our audit is substantially complete. And if it is the board's pleasure to approve the financial statements, we will be signing off on the audit today, and we will be issuing a clean audit opinion. So these statements do present fairly the results of the Thompson Regional Hospital District for the year ended December 31st, 2024. So in terms of the operating results, I know it was a busy year for the hospital district, and the financial statements don't really tell that. It was actually a fairly quiet year for the hospital districts in terms of funding. We can see that our total cash and investments stayed fairly flat, up $800,000 from $39.9 million to $40.8 million. When we look at the liabilities, we did see a decrease in the liabilities from 105 million down to 101 million, and that's most notably the payment down of the long-term debt that you have. And overall, you're still in a deficit position of 58 million, but of course, that has decreased as your debt payments decrease. When we get to the statement of operations, and again, this is really where we see the revenues and expenses in the year, and we can see that it was a bit of a quieter year, and I think we lost a projector on the one side of the room. Oh, it's back. And so overall revenue, your tax requisitions came in right on budget and up $900,000 from last year at 17.2 million. Interest income with the cash that you're sitting on, just under $2 million, down a bit from last year at 2.4 million. But overall, your revenues were favorable to budget, $20 million versus a budget of 17.3 million. And the reason why you're favorable to budget is that the investment income is very conservatively budgeted to make sure that you have enough to be able to pay out. On the expense side, the grants to Interior Health Authority did come in under budget, and that's mainly just timing of how projects go, and you guys will be all familiar with the reasons behind that. Interest was right on budget on the long-term debt. And operating expenses were up this year from $80,000 to $145,000 and just shy of budget. And that, of course, was the lobbying and the advertising campaign related to the cancer services at Royal Inland Hospital. And so at the end of the day, we ended up with a surplus of 4.9 million. But as much as we end up with a surplus, it's important to remember that your total principal payments on your debt was 4.7 million. So really, you ended up in a neutral position this year. And you had budgeted to have that deficit of 14 million to be paid out to Interior Health. That didn't happen. So what we would expect happens is you're in a net neutral position. And I will stop there and ask, are there any questions on the financial state results?
Are there any questions for Mr. Piroddi? Not seeing any at this point. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, if there's no other questions, we'll just quickly touch on the audit results themselves. As I mentioned, we were able to complete the audit, and today will be the sign off. As your auditor, I am required to report on our independence on at least an annual basis, and happy to report that we are independent of the hospital district. And this is also under the new, more stringent standards that our firm follows, which is the international ethical standards there. So we are under those standards and are still independent. In terms of how the audit went, fairly smooth as we would expect. We had access to all the information. We didn't have to change our approach, and we didn't have any disagreements with management or anything that we felt needed to be escalated to the board.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on that? Do you have more, or is this?
That would be it for me.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. The motion is further down in the agenda. Is that correct? To accept? Thank you. Just making sure. Okay, so moving on to item 6.1, temporary borrowing resolution number 25-2025. There is a recommendation there. Does staff wish to speak to this at first? No. Okay. I see moved by Director Thorpe. Okay. Seconded by Director Middleton. I'm not used to being in this seat. Everybody's supposed to be in like a different place here. Thank you. Director Middleton. All those in favor? Thank you. And that passes. And online?
Aye.
And I need Director Simpson and Director Houghton to indicate that they are in favor of that or against.
I am.
Thank you, Director Simpson and Director Houghton. Hey, yes, he's probably busy. Thank you. And we'll move on from there, and that is passed. Okay, moving on to 6.2, another recommendation on audited 2024 TRHD financial statements. Was moved by Director Smith and Director Smith. That's easy. All those in favor? And online, please.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And all
Aye.
three this time. Thank you, and that passes. Is there any new business? Seeing none. Next meeting date, a recommendation that the board directs staff to schedule an additional meeting for Friday, June 27th, 2025 at 12 p.m. for review and adoption of the 2024 Statement of Financial Information Report. Can I get a mover and a seconder on that one? Moved by Director Bass and seconded by Director Karpuk. All those in favor? I see you, Director Getz. Thank you, and that passes, and we are adjourned. Other than those online need to still once again indicate in favor, and I see.
In favor.
And there we go.
Aye.
Director Houghton. Nice to hear from you. If we can't see you, Director Houghton, and I hope you're doing well.
Well, getting there, buddy. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, and that was lickety split 10 minutes adjourned. Thank you.